keeping the crunch because nobody likes soggy pickles. Way back in the day when I was first learning how to can, of course pickles was one of the things that I decided to try. And I didn't try just a little bit and learn as I went. I made this huge batch of, I'm pretty sure it was a dill pickle. It might have been a sweet pickle. I think it was dill. And they were horrible. They actually tasted okay. So the taste was good, but they were so soft and soggy that they were no good. So I had like 21 quarts of pickles that my family didn't like. My poor husband was like, sorry, hun, but these are like not very good. So I ended up giving them all to the chickens. The chickens liked them, but that was like really depressing, and it was really hard to get over that. I did not make pickles for many years after that. And then one year I discovered a low temp pasteurization process. And I will tell you more about that in a minute. But I got back in there, I tried again, and now I'm making nice pickles and my family loves them. So just that little story to let you know that don't give up. If something doesn't turn out the first time, just try again. Learn from your mistakes and keep going, and it makes it worth it in the end. The first and most important, in my opinion, thing to keep your pickles nice and crunchy is freshness. When you pick your vegetable, and this goes not only just for cucumbers, but beans or peppers or whatever, the fresher your fruit, your food is when it goes into the jar, the better. So if you can pick your food, get it into jars and process it, within 3 or 4 hours of picking, that is the best. Life happens, and so it's not always possible. So just always remember, when you've picked them, keep them cool. Don't let them sit out in the garden for a while you're finishing other projects. Ask me how I know, because I forget. Get them inside, get them in the refrigerator or in some kind of ice water right away. The fresher they are, they go in the jars, the better your pickle is going to be. So that's the most important. So the second thing you need to remember is not only to pick it fresh, but also take the blossom end off. Now, when pickles are growing, a lot of time the bloom will hold on to the end of the pickle. And what you want to do is you want to take just that end, slice off the very end of it. It doesn't need to be very much, like 1/4 of an inch. Here's a pickle, it's already done. I don't have any fresh cucumbers to show you, but this is the stem end, and if you'll notice, the end of that pickle is just kind of sliced off there. That's all I do, and that's actually even, more than what needs to come off. And what that does, the blossom has an enzyme in there that as soon as you pick the pickle off the vine, that enzyme kicks into action and it starts softening and starts the decomposition of the pickle. So that's what makes it get soft. So if you take that blossom end off right away, then that enzyme doesn't kick in. Now that doesn't mean you could just leave it out forever, obviously, but it does slow down that, it doesn't get that enzyme into the pickle, and so it doesn't soften as quickly. So take the blossom end off. That's the second tip, and do it as soon as you pick it. I take a knife with me out to the garden and I slice the end off and throw it in a basket to bring into the house, like right away. The next thing that you can do, and these are all options, if you don't do all of them, that's okay. But the next thing you can do is soak your cucumbers in ice water for a couple of hours beforehand. This is good if you're not going to have a chance to get them processed right away. If you pick them in the morning and then that you're not going to have time to get them processed before lunch and you're going to do it after lunch, put them in ice water and keep them nice and cold, and then that just slows down any decomposition, and it just makes them nice and crispy. Of course, they also will absorb some of that water, and so that just keeps everything nice and crispy. So the next thing is there are 3 products that you can purchase. They're commercial products, and it's alum and lime, and there's a product called Pickle Crisp. I use Pickle Crisp. But alum is a commercial product, and it actually works for fermented pickles. It doesn't do anything for a fresh packed pickle. So if you're doing a ferment, you might want to consider using some alum. And I want to read to you something here that I got from the Missouri Extension Service. I did a little research because I haven't used alum personally. But according to the Missouri Extension Service, alum will increase firmness when used at levels up to 1/4 teaspoon per pint. However, it also says addition of a greater than 1/4 teaspoon per pint will decrease firmness. So what will actually cause it to be less firm. And so if you use alum, measure carefully and don't use more than 1/4 teaspoon. That was from the Missouri Extension Service. So lime is another commercial product that you can purchase, and I don't use lime myself, but it has a really good reputation for making nice crunchy pickles. It's a powdered product. You mix it with water, I believe. The directions should be on the package. Just follow those directions. But you soak your cucumbers in the lime. I believe it's overnight. Again, follow the directions. And then what you do have to do is you have to thoroughly rinse the lime off in order for it to be safe for in the jars. So it's a food grade product. Soak it in there. You take the pickles. No, they're not pickles yet. Take your cucumbers out. You're going to rinse them, soak them in fresh water, rinse them, soak them in fresh water again, and you're going to repeat that 3 times because you want to make sure that all that lime is rinsed out. And then you can go ahead and process the pickles. I haven't used lime myself, but like I said, it's got a really good reputation. People talk about it. I've seen, comments online that people really love it. It's put out by Ball. And like I said, it's a food safe product. Check it out and see if it's something that you might want to use. Okay, so the next product that I wanted to tell you about is Pickle Crisp, and I do happen to have some of that here. Pickle Crisp comes in a little container like this, and it's little white granules. I don't know if you can see in there. And you put this right into your jars when you're going to fill your jar. Follow the directions on the bottle or on the jar, it's a plastic jar, according to how much goes in each jar. It's really easy to use. It can be found in most canning aisles. The ingredients, it's basically a calcium chloride. And so a calcium chloride salt is what it is. And that goes right in your jars, and then that helps to keep the crunch also. Let's see, another thing that you can put right in your jars would be grape leaves. Now, again, I have never used grape leaves, but I've heard really good things about it. A lot of people do it. It's kind of a historical thing. It's something that was done years ago. I haven't found anything that says it's unsafe. I have, however, found articles that say it's really not necessary and it really doesn't do much. You might want to try it and see for yourself whether you like it or not. What it does is it inhibits, there's a tannin in the grape leaf. You put it in your jar, and then it inhibits the enzymes that cause the softening of your pickle. If you've taken that blossom end off, you've kind of reduced that problem anyway, and so it's something that you might have to just try it yourself and see if you like it. I've heard good things, but then I've heard other things that say it's really not necessary. So, but nothing that has said that it's unsafe so far that I can find. The final thing that I want to tell you about is something that I do, and it's called Low Temperature Pasteurization process. It's not a product you put in your jars, it's a method of processing, and it's a much gentler method. What you do is you go ahead and you do your pickling recipe as usual, but when you put your jar in the canner, you are not going to bring it up to a full boil. You are going to bring it to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So you'll need to use some kind of a thermometer. I use a candy thermometer. And you maintain that temperature for a full 30 minutes. Make sure that it stays at 180 for 30 minutes. If it goes down, you kind of have to start your time over. And that kind of defeats the purpose. You want to gently process them. And that apparently, as long as it's maintained for 30 minutes, is sufficient for a safe processing for your pickles. Now, also keep in mind that this process is only for recipes that are approved to use that. And so I have a dill pickle recipe that I always do a low temperature process, and we have had really good luck with it. So I will include a link to that also below with full directions on how to do it. So those are all my tips for crunchy dill pickles. And like I said at the beginning, don't give up. If you make something and it's not crunchy, just try it again. Try one of the other methods. Maybe you want to try lime. Try this pickling. Try the low temperature pasteurization. All of them are safe and they all work. So I hope that was helpful. You guys have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy your pickles. We'll talk to you later.